Welcome to the deep dive, where we really trying to get to the heart of complex topics.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're heading into a corner of the spirits world that, well, it might surprise you. Most people, when they hear single malt whiskey, they think Scotland, maybe Ireland.
Sure, the traditional heartlands.
But the global landscape is really, really expanding. There's incredible stuff coming from, unexpected places.
It's a genuinely exciting time for whiskey fans. You've got new regions stepping up, showing off remarkable quality, and these really unique characteristics. It just broadens the whole picture.
And that's our mission today. We're taking a deep dive into one of those trailblazers, Paul John Single Malt Whiskey.
From Goa, India.
Exactly, from the tropical shores of Goa. We're going to explore how this brand hasn't just found a niche, but actually gained serious international acclaim.
Right. Looking at their unique production, that diverse range they have.
Yeah, and the story behind how they pulled it off. Think of this as your shortcut, really, to understanding a very vibrant, pretty fascinating corner of the whiskey world today.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's unpack this journey, because it didn't actually start with single malt, did it?
No, not at all. The story really begins with John Distilleries. That was established back in 1996.
By Mr. Paul P. John himself in Goa.
That's right. And what's really interesting is their initial focus. They were all about high-volume blended whiskey and brandy.
Right.
And they scaled incredibly fast. I mean, just to give you some perspective, they're now the fourth largest liquor company in India by volume.
Fourth largest? Wow.
Yeah, and their main brand, Original Choice, sells over 11 million cases a year, globally.
11 million cases. That's enormous volume.
It really is a huge operation.
So they built this massive, successful spirits business, but then came this new ambition.
Exactly. The desire to create a world-class Indian single malt.
So how did that ambition turn into the Paul John Distillery we're talking about today?
Well, it was a pretty direct pivot, actually. They launched their first single malts globally in 2012.
Okay, 2012.
And the UK was a really early key market for them. It was a big strategic shift, going from those high-volume blends to this premium artisanal spirit.
Makes sense. And they had continuity, right, with their master distiller.
Ah, yes. Michael D'Souza. He's been with John Distillery since 2004. So he provided that crucial expertise and continuity as they made this really ambitious leap.
Okay, so beyond the business story, it feels like Goa itself is almost, well, it's part of the whiskey's DNA, isn't it? How does that unique environment actually shape the spirit, the whole terroir thing?
Oh, absolutely. And just for listeners, terroir in whiskey, much like you find in wine, it's about how all those unique environmental factors.
Climate, water.
Exactly. Climate, water sources, even the air.
Yeah.
How they really influence the final character of the spirit.
And Goa was chosen specifically for that reason.
It seems like a natural choice. You've got that tropical climate, plenty of freshwater sources, and just this ideal temperature and ambiance for maturation.
Right, so it's not just a nice place to make whiskey. The heat and humidity actually do something fundamental. They accelerate the maturation.
That's a really crucial point. The year-round tropical heat and humidity in Goa, they significantly speed up the maturation process.
So you get more flavor development quicker compared to, say, Scotland.
That's essentially it. The whiskey develops this intense, well-developed taste in a much shorter time than it would in cooler places like Scotland, where, maturation can take decades to get similar complexity.
Okay, faster development. But what about the downside? The angel's share, the evaporation loss. Is that way higher in Goa?
Yes. Good question. It is significantly high. We're talking about 8% per year lost from the cask.
8%? Wow.
Yeah, it's substantial. But that higher evaporation rate, it does also concentrate the remaining spirit, the flavors.
I see. So it contributes to that intense character you mentioned.
Exactly. It's a bit of a trade-off. Faster development, more intense flavor, but also more loss. It's one of the unique challenges of tropical maturation. It requires careful cask management.
Makes sense. So that's the climate. What about the raw ingredients? I read they use indigenous Indian 6-row barley from the Himalayas.
That's right. The core ingredients are that Indian 6-row barley, water, and yeast. And that specific barley, grown, as you said, at the foothills of the Himalayas, it really gives a unique, intense character, especially to their unpeated whiskeys.
Himalayan barley in a Goan whiskey. That's quite a journey. But then I also saw some of their peated ones use peat imported from Scotland. How does that fit with the focus on local ingredients?
That's a really good point, and it highlights their strategic flexibility, I think.
Okay.
While they definitely champion the indigenous barley for the unpeated style, importing Scottish peat for the peated expressions lets them hit that classic smoky profile.
The kind people expect from a peated whiskey.
Yep. Precisely. A profile that whiskey drinkers worldwide recognize and, frankly, often look for. So it's about using local character where it adds something unique and maybe more traditional elements where they want to achieve a specific familiar style. Best of both worlds, maybe.
Interesting balance, tradition and innovation. So that leads me to their wider production philosophy. How does this commitment to, say, purity and quality play out in the distillery itself?
Well, their approach really does blend tradition with this focus on purity. They use traditional copper pot stills for distillation.
Classic single malt setup.
Exactly. And for maturation, it's primarily American oak casks, mostly ex-bourbon barrels.
Which is pretty common, gives those vanilla and spice notes.
Right. A reliable choice for imparting good flavor.
But I heard Paul John has the specific purity promise. What's that about? Why is it so important to them?
Yeah, they really emphasize this. All their Indian single malts are non-chill filtered.
Okay, what does that mean for the drinker?
So non-chill filtering means they don't cool the whiskey way down to remove certain natural oils and compounds that can sometimes make it look a bit hazy, especially if it gets cold or you add water.
Right.
By skipping that step, you keep more of those compounds in the whiskey, which generally leads to a richer mouthfeel and lets the full authentic flavor profile really come through.
So a more natural texture and taste.
That's the idea. Plus, no additives, no artificial coloring. What you see is the natural color from the cask.
Got it.
And on top of that, all their award-winning expressions are bottled at a pretty high alcohol strength. That definitely contributes to their character, that intensity.
That attention to detail really seems core to their identity. Okay, let's get into the whiskeys themselves because Paul John offers this amazing range of flavors. It's quite broad.
It really is.
Rather than just, reading tasting notes, what's the thinking behind having such a diverse lineup? From the approachable Nirvana right up to those complex select casks. What's the ambition there?
That's a great question. I think the sheer breadth, especially for a relatively young single malt producer, it's not just about giving people options.
Yeah.
I think it's a statement. It's Paul John saying, look, India's unique climate, our barley, it can support any whiskey style.
Challenging the old ideas.
Exactly. Challenging that notion that certain profiles, certain styles only belong to specific traditional regions. It feels like an aggressive push almost to show their versatility and quality right across the board.
Okay, so let's look at the core range then, the flagships, all at 46% ABV. How do they showcase that philosophy?
Well, the main trio gives you a really good starting point. You've got Brilliance, that's their non-peated one, often described as smooth, honeyed, little bit of vanilla on the finish.
Nice entry point.
Then there's Edited. This one introduces just a hint of peat, so you get layers honey, cocoa, that subtle smoke, some fruitiness underneath.
Okay, bit more complex.
Yeah. And then for the peat lovers.
There must be one for them.
Oh yeah, Bold It. As the name suggests, it's the full-on peated expression. Really delivers that smoky character.
And you can often find those three together.
Yeah, they often do gift sets with those 3 minis. It's a great way to sort of sample the core Paul John character.
Makes sense. So beyond those flagships, they have the Select Casks series. And the promise there is even more distinct, unique character.
The select casks are really where they push the boundaries a bit more.
Okay.
You have the classic. That one's bottled at 55.2% ABV, often called elegant complex. You get notes of bourbon influence, manuka honey, maybe some licorice.
Higher strength, too.
Definitely. And then there's the peated select cask, like the 2019 Batch 02 was 55.5% ABV. Really lovely waves of peat smoke, but also things like Demerara sugar, smoked malt, bit of tobacco, cocoa. Shows they can do powerful peat really well.
And I saw they even have a specific peated single cask, number 692, even higher ABV, 58.5%. Sounds intense.
Yeah, those single casks could be quite something. That one, 692, is described with intense peat smoke, muscovado sugar, spicy cocoa, fruity marmalade, but balanced with dark chocolate and spices. Really complex stuff.
Wow.
But the select casks aren't just about high-strength peat. They also have these really intriguing wine cask finishes, all bottled at 48% ABV.
The wine finishes. I saw Oloroso and PX. Tell me about those. What kind of profile do they bring?
The wine casks are fascinating. The Oloroso finish, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just sweet sherry notes. It's described as having this rich tapestry of dried fruits, dates, walnuts, then dark chocolate, spicy oak, orange,
Right.
Cinnamon and red currant on the finish, really layered.
Sounds delicious. And the PX, Pedro Ximenez, that's usually quite a rich sherry.
Oh, definitely. The PX finish is often described as decadent. Think marmalade, mocha, stewed plums, bit of pepper, then flavors of raisins, apricot, espresso chocolate, long finish with sherry spice, chocolate, even peanuts sometimes.
They're really exploring different flavor dimensions there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they haven't stopped. They recently launched port and Madeira finishes too, still pushing those boundaries.
Incredible range. Now, what about someone just starting out, maybe intimidated by the higher strengths or the peat? Is there an entry point specifically for them?
Yes, absolutely. That's where Nirvana comes in.
Nirvana, okay.
It's bottled at 40% ABV, it's unpeated, and it's explicitly designed to be approachable. A gentle introduction to the world of single malts, Paul John style.
And it's getting recognition too, right?
It is. It just won a double gold at the 2024 CESIP Awards, which is fantastic validation for an entry-level single malt. Shows the quality's there right from the start.
That's great. Okay, moving beyond the standard range, Paul John also does these really special limited editions, the ones that get collectors excited.
They certainly do. They know how to create a buzz.
Yeah.
For example, back in 2018, they released the Mars Orbiter.
Mars Orbiter. Really?
Yeah, a commemorative bottling celebrating India's successful Mars mission. It's a brilliant way to tie their national pride and achievements into the brand narrative.
Very cool. And then there's the Zodiac series. That sounds incredibly unique. What's the idea there?
The Zodiac series is really interesting. It celebrates Indian astrology. Each release is meant to embody the characteristics of its corresponding zodiac sign.
Wow.
Canna Y was the first one, as the Indian counterpart to Virgo.
Okay.
Deep amber color, described as embodying earthy, feminine sensuousness. It was declared Asian Whiskey of the Year and scored a massive 96 points in Jim Murray's Whiskey Bible.
96 points from Jim Murray. That's huge.
It really is. It's bottled at 50% ABV, matured in first fill American oak casks. A serious whiskey.
And then Mithuna, the second one, that hit 97 points and was named the world's third finest whiskey. I mean, that's just astronomical for an Indian single malt on the world stage.
Absolutely transformative accolades. Mithuna, that's the Gemini counterpart, getting world's third finest whiskey, and Asian Whiskey of the Year 2021 from the Whiskey Bible with 97 points.
Yeah.
It really is. It's bottled at 58% ABV, unpeated this time, matured in American virgin oak, then finished in ex-bourbon casks.
Oh, yeah.
And Jim Murray's quote was just glowing. Mouthfeel.perfect. Sweetness levels.perfect. Volume of intensity.perfect.
Wow.
Praise like that, especially from someone like Murray, it sends a massive signal globally. It says Paul John isn't just interesting or exotic, it's genuinely competing with the absolute best whiskeys in the world.
Puts him firmly on the map. And for fans looking for something seasonal, there's the Christmas edition series, too.
Ah, yes, the Christmas editions. They started in 2018, and it's become a much-anticipated annual release. They always do something a bit different.
Like the 2023 one.
Right, the 2023 edition was matured in ex-bourbon, then finished in a single vintage Corhaida tawny port cask, bottled at 46% ABV.
Sounds festive. And 2022?
The 2022 edition was interesting, too, also 46% ABV. It used a mix of casks. Ex-bourbon, used brandy casks, and even casks that had previously held Oloroso sherry and smoked whiskey.
A real medley.
Yeah, led to aromas of spices, baked apples, dark chocolate. Each year offers a unique snapshot of their creativity.
It's clear Paul John isn't just, making whiskey. They're crafting these experiences, and they're getting serious global attention for it. What does that recognition look like overall?
Well, the numbers are pretty staggering. Paul John Whiskey has won over 350 awards so far.
350.
Yeah. And we've mentioned the huge ones for Mithuna and the recent one for Nirvana, but it's not just isolated wins. It's consistent quality across their whole range that's being recognized.
And the founder himself, Mr. Paul P. John.
He's received major recognition, too. He was inducted into Whiskey Magazine's prestigious Hall of Fame in 2022.
Hall of Fame. That's a massive personal
It
honor.
really is. Reflects the incredible impact he and the brand have had on the whiskey world in a relatively short time.
And it seems he's not shy about sharing his perspective on the changing whiskey landscape, especially in India.
No, he's quite vocal. There was a quote from him early in 2025 that got some attention. He said something like, "Legendary brands can no longer fool Indian whiskey drinkers."
Ooh, fighting talk.
Well, maybe. But I think it signifies more than that. It points to this rising quality and, importantly, the growing knowledge and discernment of consumers within India and confidence from Indian producers themselves. They expect excellence now.
That confidence speaks volumes about the quality they believe they're putting out. And their visibility is growing too, right? Making it into mainstream gift guides.
Exactly. Paul John was featured in the Forbes Holiday Gift Guide for 2024 as one of the most sought-after single malts.
Forbes, wow.
Yeah, that kind of mainstream exposure is really important for reaching beyond just the dedicated whiskey geeks.
True.
And for those who really want the full experience, the distillery in Goa actually has a visitor center. You can do tours. It's become a destination for whiskey enthusiasts.
See where the magic happens. Very cool. Okay, so to wrap up our deep dive on Paul John's single malt whiskey.
Quite a journey we've covered.
Absolutely. We've traced its path from, the tropical shores of Goa, India, right through to becoming this internationally respected brand. We've looked at how that unique tropical maturation.
That 8% angel share.
Right. And the indigenous Indian barley, the cask choices,
Yeah.
how all that creates this intense, complex flavor profile relatively quickly.
And we really explored that incredible range, from the core brilliance, edited and bold, to the complex select casks, those adventurous wine finishes, and of course the highly awarded limited editions like Kanya and especially Mithuna.
Which really blew the critics away.
Completely challenged perceptions.
And I think this whole deep dive really shows how, innovation, using your local resources smartly, and just sticking to a really high standard of quality,
Yeah,
it can totally redefine a category.
definitely.
It challenges those old assumptions about where great whiskey has to come from. It's about staying informed, isn't it? About this expanding, evolving world of fine spirits. World-class quality can pop up anywhere.
It certainly broadens the horizon for what's possible in whiskey. Very exciting times.
Which leads us to a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. How does Paul John's incredible success story, born from that unique climate, that bold choice of local ingredients, how does it really challenge that long-held idea that only certain established regions can make truly world-class single malt? And maybe what other unexpected corners of the globe might be next to surprise us with amazing spirits?